Okay, welcome to the official UNIBET Fight Week preview for the Hurt Game. Saturday night from the Motorpoint Arena, Nottingham, live around the world on the Zone. We've got an absolute cracker. Anthony the Apache Kakachi, the IBO World Super Featherweight Champion, he heads into the Lion's Den, rather him than me. He takes on Lethal Lee Wood, former two-time World Featherweight Champion, in Nottingham. On paper, this fight has everything. This could well be the fight of the year. I had a little catch up with Hall of Fame boxing promoter Frank Warren about a fight that we really feel will deliver. Okay, well, I'm with the promoter who keeps on delivering, and Frank, it's another fight week, Nottingham this time. What a fight this is, Kakachi Wood.
It's a cracker of a fight. You know, the two of them, I think it's the old adage, styles make fights and their styles will complement each other. It's a crossroads fight, certainly for Lee. He can't afford to lose it. Two-time world champion. He needs to win this to stay in the top echelon of the division. And Anto, who's been a revelation over the last couple of years, and where he's finally knuckled down and shown the world what his talent he has and what a great fighter he is. You know, he's going to the other guy's backyard, nigh on sellout. The atmosphere is going to be fabulous, and we're going to get, I think, a real special night of boxing.
On Anto, who you've promoted for a lot longer, that must have been an unbelievable night for him. It was on the Fury Usyk undercard. Ronaldo was ringside. It was, what a night for Anto Kakachi.
It was a brilliant night, and he finally showed what he's all about. Everybody used to tell me about how talented he was, and you could see that. And there was moments in fights where he looked good, but obviously outside the ring he wasn't taking it as seriously as he should have done. But he knuckled down, and you've seen the results of that. You know, his dedication has got him where he's at. I always say that talent gets you there, dedication gets you to the top, and you know that's happened for him. And thankfully, it wasn't too late for him in his career to look. I've seen guys look back and say, "I wish I'd have done this, wish I'd have done that." Well, he turned his life around, and he's in a big fight. It's a big fight. It's an interesting fight, and it's going to be. I generally think it'll be contender for fight of the year, if not fight of the year.
Well, look, Lee Wood knows a thing or two about that. His last fight against someone from Belfast, Mick Conlan, in that arena.
Fight, yeah.
If this is half as good, we're in for a good night.
Yeah, we'll be delighted, and he'll be wanting to put one over the Belfast man again. So we'll see what happens.
It's also a kind of a nod to late bloomers, because Lee Wood only really started coming good into his 30s. Kakachi, 35, his career changed. So a bit of an example to young fighters, isn't it?
It is. You know, it's about the journey and the road, and you know, boxing's the toughest of all sports, and you know, you have to fight regularly, and you know, and you're lucky if you sign with a promoter who's got a TV deal and he believes in you and works with you, and some can bring some take advantage of that, some don't. You know, people are different. All people have got different ways how they behave and what they feel is right. But you know, if you really do have the ability, you have the talent, and you've got the dedication, you can get there at a later age. You can do that. It's just keeping the faith and moving forward.
How much of a factor do you think Lee Wood's inactivity will be heading into this? He hasn't boxed since October 2023 against Josh Warrington.
We'll see. I mean, we'll see on the night. He's been in the gym. I know he's been training very hard at Ben Davison's gym. He's got a good trainer, and they really do believe in him, and he believes in himself. And a few times I've met him, because his gym is only up the road from here, he looks in excellent condition. He's not like he's, you know, a fat guy or something. He's got to get the weight off. I mean, he's really looked after himself. So we'll see.
So UNIBET have got Anto Kakachi as the favourite in this one. Does that surprise you at all?
It's on paper it looks it is a good match, and it looks a very close match. I suppose because of the activity and the results he's put together, yeah, they've made him favourite.
And what would be for the winner? What do you think? What's kind of the path? What have you got in mind?
The winner goes on and involved in big fights.
It feels like at their age,
Yeah.
it's big fights.
Well, of course it is. There won't be no marking time fights, and they won't want marking time fights. They want the challenge. They want to earn money, and you earn money in big fights.
Do you think Ryan Garner will have half an eye on what's going on?
Yeah, I think he will be. Be another great domestic fight. You know, he's doing really well. He'll be out again in I think it's August. We'll be going in Bournemouth again. So I'm looking forward to seeing him in the ring. But yeah, that's it. I'm sure he'll be watching it, as we will, to see what we can do with that.
Well, that's a brilliant main event. And this is a brilliant undercard as well. There's 50-50 fights. One that's got the boxing world talking a little bit is the light heavyweight clash.
Yeah.
11-0 versus 12-0. Ezra Taylor against Troy Jones, Frank.
2 undefeated fighters. Troy's going again into the other guy's backyard. It's a tough fight. It's a tough fight for both of them. But Ezra's certainly his last fight, he found his old mojo, didn't he? He looked brilliant the way and what he did. So that again is going to be a fabulous fight. You know, all British fight, 2 undefeated fighters, 25 fights is it between them, 23 fights between them, all wins. Be good.
Louis Edmondson will be coming up. He's of course the British and Commonwealth champion.
Fight the winner.
He's here for it. He's been calling for it.
Well, then he'll get it.
There was a bit of at the last fight in when Louis Edmondson fought in Bournemouth, they had a bit of a clash backstage, Ezra Taylor. So I have a feeling that will continue this week. But I guess Ezra's got to not get distracted. Neither of them got.
He needs to focus on what he's got in front of him. I'm sure he will do. You know, they're professionals. Focus what he's got in front of him, and what comes afterwards will be. But he needs to focus on Saturday night and Troy.
It's the first fight, actually. I think Ezra Taylor's going in, and not just as the underdog. A lot of people are saying this is quite the step for him. He's going to be at home in Nottingham as well. A lot of pressure, a lot to think about.
Well, he's at home. He's at home. The fans are there, and they're encouraging him. And normally, when you fight in front of your own, you pull a little bit more out as well. So, you know, that's the upside of it. You want to get on. You want to get on. These are the fights you have to win. These are the fights you have to win. Both of them fancying themselves in the fight. They both think they will be the winner.
Feels like there's a must-win fight in the featherweight division as well. Certainly must-win for Liam Davis, who is bouncing back from defeat, taking on Kurt Walker. That's deep water to go into.
It's a tough fight.
Yeah.
But he's a good fighter. He's obviously I was unaware of that he was struggling last time with the weight, and we've had a couple of fighters over the last 6 months who've been in fights, and Hamza, for example, and had to go up in weight. It shouldn't do that. It shouldn't be doing stuff like that. You know, it's you may think, oh, I've one more fight this weight. It shouldn't be doing that. And it doesn't take any. I'm not trying to take anything away from any of the guys they fought, because they've done what they've had to do. But certainly as far as Liam's concerned, we really do think a lot of him. We think he's a very, very good fighter and talented guy. And this is a fight. This is a must-win for him. He's got to establish himself in this new weight division.
So often when a fighter bounces back from a loss, they have like an easier fight, a confidence, a pick-me-up, a gimme, if you will. Kurt Walker, Tokyo Olympian, unbeaten fighter himself. No gimme at all. He's coming to win. The Conlons, who manage him, they fancy it.
Of course they do, and they. I mean, I know that he'll be in tremendous shape because their fighters always are, but so will Liam. And as I say, he's got to make a statement.
And so he's up at featherweight now. This is in the featherweight division. Obviously, we've got a brilliant featherweight fight in Scotland a couple of weeks later as well. Nathaniel Collins, Lee McGregor. Feels like there's a great mix there.
The winners fight the winners. We find out who the best is. That's what's happening. The best are fighting the best. And you keep doing it, and eventually we're going to find out who is really the best.
Let me just keep you on that featherweight division, just because we saw Naoya Inoue over the weekend, and Nick Paul's the featherweight. He's the number one featherweight in the world. Yeah. Inoue got knocked down in a fight. Are you fancying that more?
I fancy that fight. I really do like that fight for him. I like that fight for him, and I've said that months ago. I think Nick will give him a lot of problems.
Big ball ache.
it could be a ball ache for him. But, you know, the old wrecking ball, he gets in there and I believe he does the business.
Just sticking to Nottingham. Brilliant fight between Owen Cooper and Chris Congo at welterweight. Now, Owen Cooper's coming off the first loss of his career, but the performance, he's almost come away as a bit of a winner against Usyk.
Yeah, he did, didn't he? I mean, I thought he'd done extremely well, and that's, you know, but he certainly got some admirers on the night, and this is another opportunity for him to show what he's all about.
And Chris Congo, they've both lost to Echo Esserman, but Owen Cooper got stopped, but he did drop Echo. Chris Congo got done on points.
Yeah, well, let's see who's the best out of them two. Maybe they'll get a rematch. Echo's fighting again, as you know, up in Scotland in a few weeks' time, so that's going to be another interesting night.
The return of Sam Noakes as well. This is it looks to be a kind of a get active fight.
It's a marking time fight. You know, we're looking to get him in a big fight in August, and we're working very hard on that in a moment. But he's got to come through the marking time fight.
Well, these marking time fights, Frank, they're dangerous.
They're banana skins. They're banana skins because you know, most fighters look beyond that. I just need Sam to go in there, get a bit of rust out of his system, and then he gets the big fight that we're looking for in August, and he comes through that, then he'll be in some really big fights then.
Do you think he'll be looking to get the streak going again, or get a streak going again, because he was knocking out everyone, and then he hasn't knocked out the last couple? Very, very tough men who don't get knocked out, but
he'll be all right. Don't worry.
Yeah, I'm not
we believe in him. We believe in Sam. You know, Sam's an all-action fighter. He's an exciting fighter, a lovely fella, as his brother is. I mean, they're really nice fellas to work with, and I believe he can go all the way.
Okay, we look forward to more Sam Noakes announcements. A few debutants coming up on Saturday. One that really stood out for me, Frank, Charlie Senior, Olympic bronze medalist for Australia. He's found his way over here in Nottingham, making his pro debut with us.
Yeah, we're delighted he's on board. I mean, he's an excellent signing for Queensberry, and we're expecting some big things from him. So he's making his debut, and that's great.
He's at the iBox as well. There's always pictures of him and Sam Noakes together as well. Iron, I'm sure, sharpening iron.
Yeah, I mean, you know, look, here, I think the British fans are going to love him.
I think so as well. And we've got Harris Akbar, Joe Tyres, Huey Malone. It's, I guess, just a kind of blanket statement, Frank. What would your advice be to these youngsters turning over pro, trying to make a bit of a name for themselves and get going?
My advice is pretty simple advice. You know, as I started it off earlier in the interview, it was, as you know, talent gets you there, dedication gets you to the top. Just be dedicated, do what you got to do, listen to the people around you. You've got the experience, listen to your trainers, work hard, and you have the platform with Queensberry to go and show the world what you're all about.
Well, that is Saturday night, live on DAZN. A few other things away from that, Frank. You've just come back from the Canelo fight in Riyadh. What are your reflections on Canelo against William Scott?
I thought Canelo, you know, I think he struggled with his style. You know, Skull's he's a very good boxer. He's a mover, and he obviously fights on the back foot. And I thought it was a closer fight than certainly one of the judges had it. I thought it was a closer fight, and I think that for me it made the Crawford fight look a bit more even. Whereas I felt Canelo, the bigger man, a good big and always beat a good little one. Looking at his performance in that fight, I feel that it's bit more like that now.
Well, they faced off afterwards. They're going to have a fight. I mean, from that, size didn't look too dissimilar to me. I don't know what...
Well, that's height. I mean, you know, it's the weight. That's the difference. And, you know, Crawford, what's he now? He's in his 30s. He's, you know,
yeah,
he's not going to struggle to make the weight. Nor will Canelo. It's a good, meaningful fight. It's a great fight between two great fighters.
I think Canelo will go in as the favourite. Do you see Crawford as a realistic chance to get it done?
On what I've seen, he's a good boxer, Crawford, isn't he? Although Crawford, Modrilov gave him a tough fight. So, you know, it's going to be a very, very interesting fight.
Well, also that weekend, just gone, we saw a face-off between Hamza Shiraz and Edgar
Yeah.
Now, what a fight that is for Hamza to take.
That's a bit of a fight for him to make his debut, moving up a weight. And it's not like he's getting a marking time fight or a warming up fight. He's gone straight in the deep end. But we believe in him.
The way he's talked about it, he demanded it. He wanted it.
He'll fight anybody. That's how he is.
What did you think of Martin Bakoli's performance?
What did I think of it? I thought the other guy won. I'm not, but look, I'm not being an after timer. I've said for a long time, I don't get where people were telling, where people were saying what he was, and all our fighters were all frightened of him. I never felt that. The reason we never made a couple of fights was because they weren't box office, because no one knows who he is, but they know he is now, and they see what he is, and they see what they watched his last couple of fights. He looked pretty ordinary to me.
Coming very heavy as well. I think that surprised him.
He came in 14 pounds heavier than he's won fights at, and for me that's no big deal for a guy his size. When have you ever looked at him and he looks that he's not carrying weight?
Yeah, always.
Do you mean he always looks like he's carrying weight? I mean, you think he's training in a refrigerator, but he's he is what he is. I mean, he's a tough guy. I'm not saying he's a bad fighter or anything, but I'm just saying I've never seen anything to say that he is, a top echelon of the heavyweight division, because he's not.
Well, two men who certainly are Alexander Usyk and Daniel Dubois. I was speaking to George earlier. He said that we've done over 65,000 tickets now, Frank. Goodness me.
Yeah, I mean, it's flying, and we're way off, aren't we? 19th of July at Wembley, so we've got plenty of time, and hopefully I believe we'll sell out. It's a great fight. It's a great fight. And I thought at the press conference last week, I thought Aegis made a very, very valid point when they were asked about the fight and why they're fighting again and what do they think of it. And he said, last time he beat Daniel the boy, he's now fighting Daniel the man. And I think that was a very telling remark, because that is the case.
What have you made of Alexander Usyk around this? Because you have worked with him several times now. The first Daniel Dubois fight, the two Tyson Fury fights, you've seen his demeanour around these fights. For me, at that press conference that we've just had, because I've hosted a lot of them, I've seen different things. I've never seen him like that.
Yeah, there's a couple of moments you thought he got a little rattled. And again, I watched the Piers Morgan interview, and Piers showed the slow motion, the punch, which I don't care who you are. Anyone tells me watching that was a low blow, they don't know what they're looking at. Even Piers said it was. He said it to him. And irrespective of that, it is what it is. But the facts of the matter is, I thought he got a little bit rattled. Daniel is really up for this, really up for it. He's on a roll. His confidence is there. He's at his last 4 fights. Each of those fights he went in as an underdog. Won the last 3, stopped them all. All world-class fighters, world-ranked fighters that were on a roll, winning fighters. Done a job on all of them. And he's up. And I really believe in him, and I believe he can win this fight.
In terms of Usyk, him being potentially rattled, him potentially being a little bit angry, is that a good or a bad thing?
Look, outside the ring, all this stuff leading up to it, it's all dressing and whatever way you want to go. It's on the night that matters. He's a consummate professional. He's done it at every level. He's fought in everyone's backyard, because there's nothing. There is terrible fighting going on at Ukraine at the moment, but it's not under the Queensberry rules. It's not. It's a dreadful time for their people. And he gives them hope. He fights for the country, and people respect and love him from that. He knows what he's got in front of him on the 19th. He knows better than you, me, or anybody, as does Daniel. They've shared a ring together. They've seen their strengths and weaknesses. And I think in Daniel now, I think mentally he's much stronger. And I believe that this will be his night. And I think Usyk may feel that he's got the beating of him again. Otherwise, he wouldn't have taken the fight.
Well, you've spent the last 8 years or so sat next to Daniel Dubois at press conferences, being ringside for his fights, having meetings with him. What have you seen? What's the difference between the guy who sat next to you at the presser the other day compared to even just...
Because he's very rarely, he doesn't like press. He's got no interest in it. I mean, when he beat
Joshua,
AJ, he didn't even want to go to the press conference. He's no interest in it. It's not his thing. But well, I have noticed in the lead up to the fights, he's more vociferous now. He's got the confidence about him. He's not being overwhelmed. Not that he was being overwhelmed before. He was quite silent but deadly in the ring. But he's now, he's saying how it is and how he feels, and nobody's intimidating him. No, that's not happening with him. In fact, I think all those guys, he's intimidated them in the ring. Those last 3 opponents, he intimidated them in a big way with his strength and his power. And when they get hit, they know they've been hit. And that's the one thing as well about Alexandrov. He's felt the power. Again in that press conference, Iggy said if the referee hadn't deemed it as a low blow, he would have got up and fought on. But he still took nearly 4 minutes.
It's quite a telling comment.
Yeah.
So countdown on to July 19th at Wembley Stadium. Any indication on the undercard?
We're working on it. We've got a few fights, maybe we want to announce it all together.
What did you make of Daniel on the Piers Morgan show, by the way? That's a...
I thought it was good, wasn't he?
Done so.
Well, he, as I say, it's not his thing, but he done well, and he was very confident.
Yeah, spoke well. Fabio Wardley has a new opponent, Justice Hooney, to fight, Frank.
It's a tough fight. A guy with a lot of experience, certainly as an amateur. It's going to be quite a test, and this is his toughest opponent.
And he's with Matchroom as well.
So we've got the Queensberry v Matchroom again, and Fabio's. When you look at where he's got to, what he's done with no amateur background, it's been unbelievable. And he's done it in a great way. And but this is a step up, as Miller was. They both were step up fights, but he's ranked number one at the moment in the WBA, so he'd be looking to secure that position, and more importantly, fight for the title. So he's got what his wish was, which was to fight in front of his home fans at Portman Road. We delivered for him. And he's now got to go and deliver in the ring in his Portman Road, Ipswich ground. That's what he wanted. He's got it, and he's got to do it.
Is it a more dangerous fight than the Miller fight?
They're different styles. Thankfully, it weren't one of them the week before the fight. They're different styles. I think he is in his way.
It's going to be another fight where people are going to point to the pedigree of the opponent, the amateur pedigree.
Correct.
He's done all of this, Fabio's white collar.
Correct.
But that happens almost every time, and Fabio always wins.
Let's hope so. I believe he can. I mean, he's excited. He's got plenty of this, and he can fight, and he's shown that.
So, Matchroom going to be involved as well? Is Eddie going to come to any pressers, or what can we expect?
I'm sure he'll come and support his man, be with his man. Yeah.
Are you two going to be arguing over who's promoting the show? You're promoting it, no, I promoted it, no, anything like that?
It's a Queensberry show, that's the end of it, and I've got to be honest, I know what happened at Wembley, who the lead promoter was. I mean, everybody knows who it was.
I heard you've been keeping people off the stage, Frank.
Well, I mean, I don't even know why did he say things like that? I mean, I don't get, Ben, there's something wrong with him. What Eddie was referring to in there, which is basically about him insisting, because it's obviously he has insisted, he puts in contracts where he stands on the stage and things like that, which I've never ever seen ever. I mean, contracts are about the fighters, normally what the fighters' demands are, not what a promoter where I'll stand and I'm going to stand next there and I'm going to stand there. It's just a complete load of crap. And Ben's I don't know why he even said that. I've never tried to keep him off the stage. In fact, I did say to him after he sort of barged in front of me, I told him afterwards he wanted to see me off the stage afterwards, I'll gladly accommodate him.
Did he?
No. Weren't in the contract.
Well, either way, the stage is set in Nottingham.
The stage is set. We're ready to go. The old geezers, I'll find my place and stand wherever it is or sit down, whatever it's taking, and get on with it. But the most important thing about boxing is not the promoters, it's the boxers. That's what people pay for. They pay them. The sideshow of the promoters and whatever, it's just basically a little BS.
We'll see you in Nottingham.
I'll see you when I'm looking at you.